record it so that way I'll just send it to you. Okay, so the first thing we like to do is look at your leg lift. All right, really there's like 5 different parts I like. The first part's the leg lift. Okay, so we're going. All right, what I want to see is this knee go back towards your back shoulder, your back ear. Okay, because that gets everything just kind of set up in a good position. I would say you almost go a little bit too far back, like your knee might be coming back this way a little too much.
Not up high enough, or like is it back?
It's like too far back than it is up. All right, so just think front leg to back ear, if that makes sense. So sometimes you can see a little bit better.
All right, see you, Coach.
See ya. Okay. Second thing is we want to keep this back leg extended. All right, so see how as you lift, you're already starting to like get down into your glutes. Okay, we don't want that to fire too early. Okay, so we want to keep this back leg straight. So as you leg lift, just literally up to back ear, here. And then the last thing is make sure that our front hip is slightly elevated compared to our back hip. Okay, so if that's the apex, the way you can tell is that you're like you don't really have much elevation on the front side. Like you want to be like this, where you kind of pop that hip out a little bit, and your shoulders should match. So see how your shoulders go straight across?
Yeah.
All right, they should be kind of like on an uphill plane almost. Okay, so what that looks like is all we're doing is leg lifting, and then it's just like this.
Yeah.
All right, that movement. Okay, and see how that just like slightly elevates my front shoulder, my front hip, and then all you have from there is like no choice but to go straight down the mound, right? Okay, but what happens is if we don't, then we start things too early. Okay, what you'll see is this back knee should pinch and go straight towards the catcher, but I'm guessing yours doesn't really. Okay, so yours goes a little bit, but see how it's coming towards me and not straight towards the catcher?
Yeah, that's why I feel like I'm throwing across my body all the time.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's watch this. See, look, the reason you don't want to extend right away is because look what happens. Where's your knee already headed? It's already going that way, right? If that thing's going more straight up and down, it'll help you get going towards the catcher better. All right, but see, you're already going this way, and look at where that knee's going. It's going over your toe, and look at you're already coming up onto your heel already, or off your heel. If you watch this, you're already coming up off your heel. You see that? And see, look at where your knee's going. Your knee's going towards Horacek over there, whoever that is. Okay, you see that? Okay, we want this knee, like when you're squatting, you want a vertical shin, you want the same thing. Okay, we want that back knee to track in instead of going that way. Because look, see how fast you come up onto your toe? Okay, so that causes the same thing that it causes those other guys, where you're rushing out front with your upper body in order to balance yourself.
I have to use the restroom. My work's almost done. I got done like through 4 pages.
Okay, so what happens is, sit down.
I have to go number 2.
Fine, just go.
Thank you.
That's going to be on here forever now. Okay, so what happens is your body has to rush out, just like what I was saying there. I can't be able to stay back because you come over your toes so early.
Yeah.
Does that make sense why?
Well, yeah, I don't know. Everything's going in the opposite direction. Like, everything's moving in opposite directions. Like, it's just legs going back this way, front foot's coming around the sides, and then just everything tries to catch up.
Right. The other thing, too, is because you're here, because you leg lift, and this is going this way, all right, that causes you to almost like jump, where you have to come out, and then your body has to, in order to stay balanced, it has to reach out front this way, and instead of being able to just stay back and stay here, because this is a much more powerful position than up here, right?
Yeah.
So if you can sit into that glute longer, there's just a big difference between sitting out this way and going that way, right? Where my knee goes this way compared to if I'm able to sit back and rotate like this. You see the difference there?
I know I was thinking about getting down and stuff, I guess.
We're just getting down the mound in the wrong way.
Yeah.
All right, if we watch. It's almost like when this leg lifts, and E-Rock, this is good for you to listen to also. When this front leg lifts, it lifts, and then it just shuts off. And your initial movement down the mound is driven by your back knee. All right? It's not driven by this front leg swinging open. It's driven by this thing going and then just taking everything else along for the ride. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's the big thing that you need to think about. Okay, and that'll clean up so many other issues that you have. Okay, because what happens, same thing that happens with those other guys. All right, your front side has to go open early.
Yeah.
Okay, at this point, it should still be here.
Yeah, my arm's all the way down.
Right, your arm, you probably have, that's probably why you have elbow problems too, because you're rushing so far out front. If you were still back here, if you were still there with your head back in this position, your arm would have time to get up and get here, which is much more stable position for your elbow than if you're out here. It's like if I'm going to hit somebody, if I'm going to hit you in the face, am I going to go around or do I want to be nice and compact?
Yeah.
You want to be nice and compact, right? Everything's stronger here. Your elbow's more stable. Your shoulder's more stable. So when things are kind of getting loose out here, and you're all like this, that's a pretty unstable position, right? It's the same thing as if I'm trying to punch, okay, compared to here.
Well, I think that's what I was working on it. Like there was to get my legs into it more. Everybody was like working on like my leg lift, like it wasn't high enough. It's probably just like this where I'm getting like everything's just getting separated. And I'm like I don't know. I feel like my I don't know. I feel like this is probably where I lose all my legs.
You lose all your legs from this very initial right. As soon as you're here, like right there, you've lost your legs already.
Yeah, it's just
everything's starting to rotate. Like as soon as that back heel becomes disconnected, your glutes are done. You can't activate both that quad and your glute at the same
my
time.
back leg's just dragging.
Right.
The rest of the time.
So you got to learn how to sit into this back side better. All right, because once you figure that out, then you're actually rotating properly. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So fixing this back leg will take care of most of your issues. Okay. And then when we get out here, so see, here's how you land. And you weren't wearing shoes, you dummy. All right. You're going to lose 2 to 3 miles an hour just by not wearing cleats. Okay, because your front leg can't stop that momentum. Because all the momentum's coming from your back leg, goes to your front leg, then it's got to come up your body and out your arm.
Yeah.
Okay, but if this lands and keeps moving, that means that energy is being leaked there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, this has to stop. Like while we're here, it has to stop, extend, and then that's like hitting the brakes.
Yeah.
So you got no choice but for it all to come out your fingertips, basically.
Doesn't that make your finger?
Absolutely not. It makes it healthier.
Actually, I think it would hurt worse.
Okay, so we want to see that thing be fully extended by the time we get to release. Now that's something that's not really hard to think about. All right, I got some drills that we can do, basically where you throw off the mound backwards. All right, so that way you can feel that front leg, get that timing right where that front leg hits it, and then extends as you go into pitch release.
So my leg is still on the ground by the time I'm going to throw. Like the ball's already almost out of my hand, and my toes still on the ground.
Back here?
Yeah.
That's fine. That's what you want. That's actually bad if your back leg comes disconnected, which it's at this point it's not doing anything.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like it's not like I'm.
You don't want this thing in the air. You want that thing. What it should look like. It's actually pretty good. As we go into release, this should basically be a straight line. So I should have a straight line from ball back to back foot, and then that should be a straight line going that way. That's what it should look like.
So my back leg's fine and the front leg?
Well, the back leg's not, because look at all that flexion you have.
Yeah.
This should still be extending because if that's still connected, then that means you're still pushing and you're still rotating that back hip, and then this is straight, which is rotating that front hip back, right? So your glute is rotating this hip forward. This is pushing it back, so that way it creates like this screwing effect, right? And then it's all coming out your hand. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what it should look like. All right, but this all looks like this, especially this back leg, because we lose our glutes so fast.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you jump, basically what you're doing is you're jumping out to front foot strike. And so as soon as you come disconnected, it's just moving forward because you basically, whenever you jump, you jumped, right? So this might seem like it's really depressing, but there's actually a lot of drills we can do to fix it and get it better. So that's why we're doing this now.
Yeah.
So that way we're not making these changes in February when it's too late, right? Like we can't change them then. Okay, so that's why we're trying to come up with some drills that you guys can do a couple times a week, September, October, November, December, January, and then we're competing in February, March.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So what we'd like to do